Due to the paranormal activities happening in our home, we decided to visit a local shop here in Erie, PA, to purchase some sage and other supplies. While shopping, we met the owners, Matt and Sonia Miller. They informed us that their store is the world's largest witchcraft and occult store. They also invited us into a very special part of the store that is called the Vault. The following is what we witnessed. So guys, we are here at Cauldron Thorne in Erie, PA, which is the world's largest witchcraft and occult store. We're gonna go check it out right now. This is Matt Miller. Him and his wife Sonia Miller are the owners of this beautiful store. She was not present at the time of our visit, but Matt is going to show us around. Come with us as we enter the vault, where many very interesting, rare, and high-end occult items are housed. As the doors open, we immediately feel an energy that is actually quite welcoming. Watch as the store owner, Matt, shows us around.
This room is, it's got a vibe into it. It feels like there's actually energy in here. You want to talk to me
There's
about?
crazy energy in here. This has been kind of an accumulation of 25 plus years of, I wouldn't say collecting, going out and finding actual objects that is occult memorabilia that was ritually used or is haunted or cursed. And I just didn't take people's words for it. People would bring me stuff all the time. And they're like, here, you're into this, have this. And I was kind of like, nah, I'm not so much into that. I had to feel the energy on it. I had to feel it when he brought it to me. And then I took the time to research it and get the history about it. And then I got so much stuff, I had to turn around and sell some of it. So people would bring it to me. I would take it, find out the history, and then I'll put a price tag on it and send it back out into the world. So everything you see here is for sale, but not everything for sale you can see, because it's not ready yet. So yeah. But there are two people here that the most energetic in the building that are not going to go anywhere, and that's Joseph, our doorman, and the working box collection.
Is this an actual skeleton, like a real human?
That's a human skull. That's Joseph Gatton.
Wow.
He's a Croatian. We actually located his descendants. They're split between Croatia and Austria, Vienna, Austria. So he moved to Vienna, Austria in the early 1800s, where he worked there as a guard, and now he guards our door in the afterlife. But what would happen is when you would die over there, and during that time he died in 1862, he was buried, and then after a couple of years they would dig you back up because they didn't have a lot of room. Your family would adorn your skull and place you in a catacomb or ossuary or a charnel house. His charnel house was destroyed in World War II, and then he came home with an army unit, and his caretaker passed a few years back, and now he works with us. So there he is. So he's part of the team. So he is.
So he like protects this in here, and
And he is here, and he has a social life just like everybody else. And, a lot of people come in that are regulars and greet him and talk to him like he's, here, and he is here. I mean, Skull and Dormant goes back to the dawn of man to give the dead a second social life and to remember our ancestors. So he gets to hang out with us, and he goes to all of our social events that we have at the shop as a guest of honor.
Wow.
So it's not bad being dead around here.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
That's real cool.
Now that we have met Joseph, we move on and are introduced to Mama L, a voodoo practitioner and healer. Her working collection is on display here in the vault.
So our second resident, our second resident is, she comes and goes, but this is her complete working box. This is the collection We have 5 on display, but there's more inside of our sanctuary box. But this is the working collection of Louisa May Richard, a very well-known voodoo practitioner, a streetwalker and healer. And she was active from about 1890 to about 1950. I got this collection from her great-grandson. He was getting married, his fiance didn't want it around anymore, so he asked if we would take her in, and she's here, and she's very assertive. She really lets you know what's going on at times. So but we have many people come in that are practitioners that want to do the graveside ritual, and they'll come in and leave an offering and mark their X's and do their knocks and ask for favors from Louisa May. So we call her Mama L. So there's nights you come in here and Mama L is very active, and she'll let you know if she's happy with something or not happy with something.
Okay. It's so Mama Al, it's actually here right now. Am I right? Because I feel like a presence, and it's like kind of cold in here and kind of chilly.
Likes you.
She likes me.
She likes you.
Okay.
She ain't pulling on your ponytail, so she likes you. So these are the oldest boxes from about 1890s. And then this is her May box. But all the artwork on there she done herself as well.
Okay.
So they're full of various artifacts and items. The old ones are warped to the point where you can't open them, nor would you want to open them.
Yeah.
So, but she sits here, and people will bring her rum and cigars and monetary offerings and silver and everything else.
Okay. So how long you have how long have this building has been? Yeah, is it actually haunted in here or?
This place actually was haunted before we moved in.
Okay. And do you actually see shadows? And...
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay.
And actually, the most haunted areas are not back here in the vault. It's actually out on the floor.
Oh wow.
In a couple different sections. So
okay.
The incense room, and then the upstairs landing in this corner over here. A lot of people don't like going up there.
Okay.
A lot of people get freaked out in the incense room. But little kids love the incense room. They say they go to see Bubba in there. Wow. So I don't know who Bubba is, but I have a sneaking suspicion that when we got here, this side of the building was built in the early 90s, but the far side of the building was built in the 50s. And it was a lot of different things. It was a diner, it was different things like that. But the area that the kids talk to Bubba at is where we found when we moved into the shop. There was a wheelchair, an electric wheelchair left here. And he was a Navy vet, but from my understanding, he had a clock shop here. And that was the working room back there where he did all of his work. So it makes sense if he's
so he's working back there and working with the kids.
When the kids come in. And they have a great time talking to Bubba. They're always drag their mother in and go, I gotta talk to Bubba. And they go into the back and they say, hey, Bubba. And, they have a good old time. They laugh and they leave. So, however, I don't think Bubba likes people as much as he likes kids. I hope he likes me. I think he gets annoyed with people at times, right? So that's 3 of the characters that we know hang around here. So the one on the upstairs in the corner, don't really know what his deal is. We think that he might be actually a PK manifestation. It kind of came because of a tenant that used to be here and wasn't into great things, and I think it's kind of a remnant of it kind of took a life of its own.
Yeah.
So anyways, but it hides back there.
Okay, it hides back there?
It does. I grew up in a haunted house. I've been to haunted places. I'm fairly skeptical when it comes to this stuff. If somebody comes up to me and says, oh, I'm a psychic, or I'm this or I'm that, I don't usually take them for their word. I have to see and experience, right?
Yes.
So, so the biggest event I'd say that I ever witnessed was me and my wife was here one night when we took over the building, and I was just sitting on the step there and going hi, and it was probably about 6:30 in the afternoon, and there was the loudest moan that you would ever hear in your life. And it just sounded like a little kid just like losing it, whenever, a kid gets hurt and he's like, ah,
sounds
right
like
before
what happens at home.
And and it was so loud, it just echoed from one side of the steps that I was sitting on across, and the building shook, and you heard feet like run across the top and just slamming the other side of the wall, and me and my wife just kind of looked at each other and were like, okay, well, then we just went on, take it home again. What are you going to do? What are you going to do when something like that happens? You just kind of like, all right, let's just keep going on. Right?
You already is, you can't,
So the vault is in this area because I wanted to wait, because we are in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like this in Erie.
Okay.
And we didn't know how Erie was going to accept a shop like this in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But it was so big that we were able to expand and add an area like this for high-end collectors and the people looking for the hardcore occult stuff. So this is it.
In this next area of the vault, we see and learn about some very interesting items, including a demon in a bottle and even a rare Catholic relic.
Okay, so this is a Kang Lang. This is a Tibetan, what's called the demon trumpet. This one's for exorcism, and it's used in the Chod ritual, which is a ritual feast used to call forth and pacify demons and hungry spirits.
Okay.
This is made from a human femur bone of a murder victim or a murderer. And then this is wrapped in a leather we don't know. This is late 1700s, early 1800s. So you ever wonder where Beetlejuice comes from? It comes from this. You blow on it 3 times in order to show the evil spirits that you're not scared. Here.
What is that?
That's our resident demon in a jar.
Demon in a jar?
Demon in a jar.
Oh, definitely. I want to say
that. Where I come from in Appalachia, there's a lot of different faith healers. You have different like fever men, and then Germans, you have the casters. And it's a tradition among the Germans and the Swiss where you would take out like a sickness or influence and you would cast it into a rock or a dead tree or an inanimate object, right? Things like that. And you would trap it there. So that's why when you walk in the woods and you come across some place, you go, oh, this is kind of creepy. If it's in Appalachia, that might be why. So we had a lady come from where I was from, and it was funny because you could feel it on her. It felt familiar, right? But she was having all kinds of issues. So we had we bound it to a piece of stone, and we just had it sitting in that cabinet Mama L is in right now.
Okay.
In the original section of our store. And every once in a while you would come out there and it would, it'd feel hot. It was mad. It was, you could feel
actually gets hot?
Yeah, you could feel heat on it. It'd get mad, right? So when we were moving over to this part of the store, people were moving stuff out and walked past, and people kept going, I hear kids laughing, right? So we go past it one time and we heard like kids laughing. And then finally I went, we were coming through a little bit, it was me and like 3 other people moving something, and you heard a dude just like real deep, like kind of like chuckle, right? And I said, nope, we ain't doing this. So I stopped everything, and we put it, usually you build a wax box, but we were kind of busy and I didn't have all the supplies, but I had some beeswax, I had black salt, and I had mistletoe. And mistletoe is an exorcism herb, and the black salt for protection. I had the beeswax, and so I grabbed the closest thing I had was a parfait jar, and I put the rock in there and bound him by beeswax and black salt. So to add a little bit of insult to injury, we call them the demon butter parfait. So,
wow.
But if anything ever happens to us or the shop, there's people have instructions to take it about 20 miles out into the middle of the lake and drop it. So
wow.
So you have experience in all of this stuff.
Yeah.
That's why you know how to do all this. And
you grow up. Yeah, you grow up with where you do. Like my grandmother's what was called an old lady.
Yeah, they have experience on this kind of stuff.
And everybody was either like water witch or evil witch or witch doctor. We had all kinds. And, it wasn't looked at any different. It's just people had different talents, right? So it wasn't until probably I was like, I don't know, early teens when everybody started getting crazy, like, hey, it's of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So don't have patience for that. Don't have patience.
So,
when the televangelist came, that's when it all went downhill.
so this thing here is just like, what is? Are those drawings or?
This is actually arguably the most famous occult artist right now is Barry William Hell, and this is one of his Legion 49 projects that he did to accompany this grimoire for Legion 49. It's grimoire for Beelzebub.
Okay.
And Beelzebub commands 49 legions, each legion had 7 leaders, so 7 times 7, 49.
Okay.
So you might think this is just a bottle of Crystal Head vodka. Well, you're wrong. It's an evil bottle of Crystal Head vodka. And so basically this is a conjuring bottle. And he did all the...
Look how that. Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
Oh boy.
Wow, that is so cool.
That's like a spider in true.
Yeah. So Beelzebub is, Lord of the Flies and all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
So this is one of 7. There's actually, he had time issues, so there was, we got a message right before we opened, and he said that he told our mutual friend that he only actually got around to making 3 of those, so and one of them broke. So even though it says 1 of 7, it's actually 1 of 2 that's left right now.
1 of 2.
So it's there. So it has everything to do with contracts and business and pacts and things like that. So I call it my bottle of lawyers.
Lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
the
whatever
tax-
you want, it gives you.
so if a taxman ever comes, I'm just chucking that thing at their feet like a grenade.
Oh
It runs in the
boy.
opposite direction. So there you go. So it's here with us. So,
Pretty
Wow.
cool.
yeah.
This pretty cool.
Yeah.
What is this snake? Is this an
That's-
actual?
That's Sexy Rexy. Yeah, this is a vintage taxidermy from back in the 20s and 30s of a white cobra. Deadly snake in the world is a king cobra. This is a white cobra. And the white cobra was rare. And believe it or not, the in America gangsters loved having a white cobra because it was rare and projected power. Right? So if you're a gangster, you had one of these in your office.
Wow.
I'm a gangster. I'm a gangster. So, oh wow, this thing is. That is scary. It's just watching me. Oh boy.
Yeah, he's guarding the place, right?
Oh boy.
Don't look at him the wrong way.
No, I believe me. I'll take my eyes off of it right now.
So for here's a pretty cool piece for the Christian kids here. For the Catholics, I actually got this at a sale from a cathedral in France, and this is a reliquary. Now remember, you buy the container. The relics are free because if you don't sell relics, because if you sell relics, you go to hell, right? Excommunicated. But this was a reliquary that I bought, and inside from the church. It makes sense because this goes back to the 1600s and a loan that was given by the King of France to the papacy. And in return, the Pope sent a piece of the true cross and the crown of thorns to France, where it stays today.
Okay.
And part of the reason why the crown of thorns is smooth now is because of this. So inside of this reliquary was a bone, exoscopus, from the bone of John the Baptist, St. Peter, Mary Magdalene, and St. Paul. But on either side, you have a piece of the true cross, and then you have a splinter from a thorn of the crown of thorns.
Oh wow.
So this is a very, very, this is a very heavy piece if you're Catholic, right?
Yeah.
So it's sealed. It has a wax seal on the inside. When I bought it, it was there. It showed it. So I'm not messing with this.
Yes.
Again, or pulling it out. But it's whether you believe.
Yes.
You have to take it on faith.
It's all. Yeah. It's
what
all
the church
believed.
tells you,
Yeah.
Now, they didn't find pieces of the true cross until, Constantine's mother did in the 4th century. So, I mean, that's 300 years after the fact, you know. So
Okay.
it's a matter of faith, you know. So
Yes.
there you go.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
So
Oh,
that was cold. Did you feel
Whoa.
that? That was pretty wild. That was,
As the cabinet doors open, we notice a sudden temperature drop and slight breeze. After you see the items inside, you may begin to understand why. That's weird.
It gives me the chills.
yeah.
Is that actual skin?
This is skin. So this is human skin.
Skin
Wow.
on the bottle.
So
This is
so
unbelievable.
one of the big trends right now is, so there's a business of companies that take your tattoos and they tan it, like tanning your skin. But it costs thousands of dollars. So if you have your mortician, right, is cool with it, some of them will do this. And this is kind of a trend here where they will take you can come in with this and get a little close up. They will take your skin, right, and they will cut it, and they'll take the subcutaneous fat, and you can see how thin the skin was. If you just put the skin in there, it would fill up and it would go to the bottom. But on this one, you can see, you know, the hairs and things like that on it.
that is
So
very
this come from
interesting.
believe it or not, this came from a biker who was about 54 years old.
Oh, wow.
And this came from a young lady. It was funny. I got both hearts, and from two different families. It came from a young lady who passed away. Who was in her early 30s. But these were bequeathed to people in her family and their families. And so, once again, being known as the person with the weird stuff, they're like, "Look, I appreciate the thought, but can you take this for us?" And of course, being the weirdo I am, I'm like, sure, absolutely. So that's that. So along that line, it's kind of like my funerary cabinet right there. So along that line, it's preserved in 70% alcohol solution.
Wow.
So let me move here. Let me get a couple other things here as well.
So people just don't feel right sometimes having their loved ones.
They don't. No,
Skin in a bottle.
You know, that's not a typical thing.
Yeah, it's not. That's very unusual.
It's making me a little sick.
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to it too. I was not a fan of it, but you know, I felt it was kind of my duty. So these are what's called Victorian mourning jewelry. As you can see, it's made out of hair here.
That is actual
Wow.
hair.
Yeah, you can see where it's.
That is human's hair. Is that?
Yeah, so that's the hair of the deceased there. So that was very typical. This is just tassels here, but the cord and everything is tied in there with the hair. You can see it all here.
Wow. That must have taken somebody a really long time to do that.
So that was an industry back then. So if you're really rich and a real weirdo, you would dig grandma up like you would Joseph over there, and then you'd take the cookie cutter to her skull and you'd make skull rings. So these are like myopic suture. These are from the sutures in the skull.
Oh my god.
And they're set in sterling silver. So these are from back to turn of the century. So that way you go to dinner, Sunday dinner, it's like, everybody say hi to grandma. Hi, grandma.
Oh my goodness.
So there you go. And so his and hers.
Wow. So do you know if like the history on
I have
bones
no
there?
idea whose they are. I just know what they are.
Wow.
I've seen, they're rare.
Uh-huh.
I've seen probably 3 others for sale. So I got 2 of the 5 that I ever saw.
Wow, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So
Wow.
put these guys back right here.
Grandma's stuff in the finger. That's crazy. Oh boy. How do you feel about having all this stuff like actual people's skin, tatted and grandma's on the ring?
Well, just remember in the church in Portugal, in the Bone Church in Portugal, there's a sign there that says, "What you are, we once were. What we are now, you will be."
Wow.
So eventually,
That's deep.
that's just going to be us.
What you are, we once were. What we are now, you will be. Remember this, as you or I could be in someone's vault one day. Right.
Yeah.
And do you really want, I mean, no matter where you end up, because we're getting to the point where we're at maximum saturation, that, you know, in Europe, you only rent your grave for so long because there's no more land. You're going to get to the point is we're going to, you know,
Yeah.
eventually you're going to start recycling you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way the world is going. That's where we're trending to. So, you know, you can be celebrated and made into jewelry, or, you know, held here, put in ash. Now they have ashes are turning people into diamonds and gemstones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? You can do that, or you can just be stuck in the ground.
Right.
So it's how you everyone end up being. I have a really cool thing from the Cold War to show you. So
Let's see.
this is. So W.C. Fields said a sucker is born every minute, right? So during the 60s and 70s, the Communist Party opened up Romania back up to tourists. So the locals and the Romani in Romania on the way to Bran Castle or a couple different castles at Husko that Dracula, you know, was imprisoned at or occupied. They would go and grab the clay from the earth, and they would go and they would fire it, and they would see the train coming into town with Western tourists, and they would sell them these shot glasses or these ashtrays with Dracula. You know, Dracula, Romania, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Dracula's pretty sad. If Dracula came to me like this, we'd have to have a talk. But so what happened is they'd sell them these little you know, local made artist artifacts, and then once you bought them, they would laugh at you and they'd go, "Why are you laughing at me?" And they said, "Because you are now cursed for eternity to see Dracula in your dreams. Unless you pay me another $5, and then I can take the curse off." So,
Wow.
everybody's a business person.
That's the way of business, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I like I said before, if Dracula showed up in my dreams looking like this, we'd be throwing down. Because Dracula, you got some problems, right?
Dracula. I don't want to be haunted down in my dreams over Dracula over an ashtray.
Yeah. That Dracula's pretty sad, though. So.
Yeah, he does look sad.
So, these are just various people parts that people purchase, from ribs to hands and fingers and feet. You know, that's your ankle and your heel there.
Are these actual bones?
Yeah, absolutely. These are all from like a school skeleton. So if you look at this, like you can see the hole for the wires into it.
Oh, okay, I
Like
see.
this one. So this was, yeah, you can see there. So when it was, you know, hung up, you know, here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, yeah.
Wow, interesting.
So you lose a bone, you cut it apart, you use it. When you're done using it, then you sell it, right?
Oh, that's crazy. I don't know how you feel comfortable having this creepy.
You eat chicken wings, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Here, hold out your hand. It's a chicken bone. There you go. It's chicken wings. Ain't no difference.
I don't dare, it's scary.
Ain't no difference.
So this is just like, this could be like a whole bunch of people's.
That's
This could be like,
I think
or is
that, to be honest with you, I think it's all from one medical skeleton. So
Oh, okay.
I think it's pretty much one person.
oh, okay, that's pretty
one
cool.
person.
Yeah, but you got fingers and toes and tarsals and
Wow.
metatarsals. Sorry, phalange. Yeah.
Oh wow,
So there you go. So
Wow, that is pretty cool.
that is real cool. I think you got a nice room back here. I got a lot of history and.
I'm very comfortable back here. A lot of people get scared to come back here.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is once they come back here, they don't want to leave. They're like,
Yeah.
it's very calming back here. It's very
It is.
comfortable back here.
It is common.
So we got the library chairs. They're like flop down and they're like, we're going to just hang here for a minute. Like, okay, you know. So, and that's the thing of it is the more you're with this and the more you work with this stuff, the more comfortable you become. This is a really cool piece here. This is done by an artist
Which, okay, here we
by the
go.
name of Rachel Mosier.
Wow.
So Rachel, she's from Madison, Wisconsin, and she painted this in the year 2000. And she was going to college. She was a fine arts major at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and so not only was she your goth kid that drove the hearse, she had a boyfriend that worked at the casket factory.
Wow.
Okay.
So this was part art project, part tiny home, because she has about 100 hours of art into this front and back. And she lived right near campus, so she wanted the whole campus experience. And her parents were like, you know, you live close, we're not going to spring for it. So she'd come home, do her work, and head back to college. And then at the end of the night, crawl in her casket. So she was a tiny home. She was
crawl in the casket.
Yeah, that's
right.
She was sleeping this.
Yeah. So
Wow,
this is just the lid, but you can see she ripped out all the padding to do the artwork. But it's lined with red satin, and what she did was she did the padding in the inside,
Wow.
and then covered it with the red satin. So this is part of what's there, which I think is funny. The red satin is kind of incorporated throughout. So she said it was really comfortable. She got good sleep in it. So there you go. You know.
Oh wow.
It's beautiful.
She pioneered the tiny home movement without even knowing about it.
Is she still alive? Or?
Yeah, she's absolutely. She was still. I bought it directly from her. So.
Oh, wow.
She's on Instagram. You can check her out there, or Rachel Mosier Art, I do believe.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
So does she do more of these? Like,
she does all kinds of stuff. So
we'll have to check her out.
this is a mask of broken nose.
Wow.
My wife found it. It's by John Elliott of the Six Nations. Very famous guy, right? Hand carved out of one piece of wood.
Wow.
Wow.
So yes. So believe it or not, my wife found this at Goodwill for like a couple, or Salvation Army for a couple bucks.
Really?
It's a $900.
Oh my God.
John Elliott's still alive. He's a famous.
Wow. Is that like actual real hair?
Yeah,
That's
that's
horse
real
hair.
hair. It's horse hair.
Yeah.
horse
Oh,
hair.
wow. Oh,
Wow.
that is.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Wow.
She found that at the Salvation Army.
Yeah, I was with a bunch of different ones that were like nothing, but
Oh my
she did
gosh.
what she saw.
That is so scary. It's just scary looking.
Well, the thing is, Unagin, or Broken Nose, he challenged the creator to a test of strength, and they were moving mountains. And whenever he was moving a mountain, a piece of mountain broke off, and hit him in the face, and broke his nose, and made him hideous.
Wow.
So he lost, right? So he was the creator felt bad for him because he was so disfigured. He was like, you can live in the caves, but he's like, you have to take care of your people. So what he would do is he'd come into the dreams of the tribes and help guide them.
Yeah.
So even though he's ugly, he's actually a protector spirit of the Six Nations people.
Wow.
So he's known as a broken nose, right?
But a whole broken nose. That is creepy. Yeah.
We really enjoyed our visit to and tour of the vault. Cauldron Thorne in Erie, PA is a very magical place. Aside from the vault, they have a store full of the coolest items. They carry endless supplies and merchandise, including crystals, statues, incense, jewelry, artwork, candles, books, tarot cards, and so much more. We can't wait until our next visit. Thank you for watching our video. If you like our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Also hit the bell for all notifications to stay up to date on all our new videos. See you all next time.